Hey, it's Josh Ellis. We're going to talk about Continuum of Motivation. This is something that I work with all of my clients, and every time it comes up on a podcast, it's something that I get a lot of messages about that people are really interested in. So I thought it'd be cool to go over in a really condensed way. So there are four levels of motivation, and we can get a little nerdier. There's actually six, but there's four that we can influence. So we're going to focus on those. This is from self-determination theory. The first level of motivation is going to be a reward and punishment. The next level of motivation is going to be guilt or contingent self-esteem. As we start to get more intrinsic or more self-determined, we're getting into goals that come from your values. And then the most self-determined that we can easily influence would be actions that come directly from our values, right? So, and it's a continuum from the stuff that's like the most fleeting and like the like most fragile to the stuff that's like the most robust and the most long lasting. So, like reward and punishment is a kind of motivation. It does work for a very short amount of time. Personal values is a more robust form of motivation. It's something that even when things are going well or going poorly, like regardless of how things are going, we still want to keep being the kind of person we want to be. Whereas on the flip side, on the more extrinsic side, when things aren't going well, like things when things aren't taking us towards looking good, then it doesn't have the same kind of pull, right? So reward and punishment people still use for fitness a little bit, but mostly what people are pulling from for fitness is they're pulling from guilt or contingent self-esteem. Like if I eat this, I feel good about myself. If I eat something bad, right? Because food's moralized. If I eat something bad, then I feel guilty. Or they pull their goals from guilt or contingent self-esteem. Like I'll feel bad about myself if I'm not at this weight, or I'll feel good about myself if I'm at this weight, or you know, pant size or whatever, right? So that's this whole side where we really often see people get derailed. Like if someone has a scale weight goal that's based on I want to look good at this event, or I want to look good for these people, or like I feel really bad about myself if I'm not at the scale weight, then what happens is when they hop on the scale every week, if they're on track for their goal, whatever arbitrary speed they were supposed to hit their goal at, right? Like if they hop on the scale and they're ahead, a lot of times they'll lose motivation. And if they're behind, a lot of times they'll lose motivation. So what we end up with people with like every time they hop on the scale, they feel worse about themselves and they feel like some version of off track, either like ahead or behind, and they kind of say screw it and like kind of like pitch all the things that they're practicing for a while. Now we start to get onto the cool side where we start to get into values, and values are can sound really heavy and can sound like a really really big thing, but what we're really looking at is we're looking at character strengths. We're looking at ways of being. We're looking at the kind of like a character strength is a really good way to put it, like conscientious or connected or loving or compassionate. These are character strengths. And so on the self-determination side, if you set a goal, like a behavioral goal, like if I do these things, if I'm going this direction, that's probably like a game I can play in the direction of this value I have, like being conscientious, right? Or being wise. That's more self-directed. The highest version is actually taking actions purely because they express the kind of person you want to be right now. So like if you call someone you love because you want to be connected, because like being connected is a character strength that matters to you, then you're being connected right when you call them today. Like nothing else needs to happen in the future. By the same token, if you're practicing eating skills in a way that's wise because you're checking in with yourself, or wise because you're not like jumping to something extreme, you can practice eating skills in a way that's wise, like right now today. Similarly, if you want to be conscientious, you can look at like, oh, if I made this choice about mating skills or that choice about mating skills, that would be conscientious. And so you're taking actions that are alive like right now. And that is the highest and most robust form of motivation. It's not motivation in the way of like the feeling like it feels good or you really want to. It's motivation in the way of like it's worth it, right? So if you think about a parent like might want to be a good dad or mom, whether things are going well or whether things are going poorly, right? If someone's an emergency room doctor, they don't have to set this like external goal about like, or like I'm going to reward myself or punish myself if I save someone's life today. They just want to go in there and like do their best to save lives because that's the kind of person they want to be, right? And so that's the highest level, right? So again, we've got these 4 levels. Least robust, most fleeting, reward and punishment. Next, guilt and contingent self-esteem, or goals related to guilt or contingent self-esteem. More self-determined, where things are starting to get a lot better actually, is goals that are derived from your values. And then the highest level is taking actions purely because they express your values right now, today. Like it's the kind of person that you want to be right now. And that's Continuum of Motivation. It's my interpretation or my spin, like the way that I like to describe self-determination theory and organismic integration theory. There's more about it in my book and things like that. And you can hit me up on the Facebook group, Lean and Strong Facebook group, if you've got more questions. And there you go. Enjoy.